In the 1800s, England started trading with many countries, bringing back fancy things like silk and spices. But something bad came along too, a zombie virus. It spread quickly and millions of people died. But they didn't stay dead. They came back as zombies that wanted to eat people's brains. To stay safe, people began learning to fight using martial arts from Asia. The government built a huge wall called the Grand Barrier around London and a deep water-filled ditch called the Royal Canal. The space between them was called the In-Between. During a big zombie attack called the Second Battle of Kent, the zombies broke a bridge over a canal, and everyone living in the In-Between was killed. The king got so upset he went crazy and ordered all the bridges to be destroyed, except one. As time passed, rich people moved out of the city to safer houses in the countryside. One day, Colonel Darcy visited a house in Hertfordshire because he heard someone there might have been bitten. The guards checked him carefully to make sure he wasn't infected. Once he passed, he was let inside, where a lady named Mrs. Featherstone was playing cards with her guests. She said her house had been safe for a long time. Darcy joined the game but secretly let out special flies that could smell dead bodies. The flies flew straight to one man, showing he was infected. Darcy didn't wait. He killed the man right away. He asked if anyone else could be infected, but Mrs. Featherstone said no. When Darcy left, her daughter got scared and ran to check on the man's niece. Sadly, it was too late. The girl had already turned into a zombie and attacked her. Meanwhile, Mr. Bennet was training his 5 daughters to fight zombies. He wanted them to be ready, but their mother thought they should focus on finding husbands. When a local dance party was announced, Mrs. Bennet convinced them to let the girls go have some fun. The sisters got dressed up at the party, hiding weapons under their fancy clothes. Elizabeth, the second oldest, didn't really want to go. At the party, a man named Bingley saw the oldest daughter, Jane, and really liked her. They danced and had fun. Bingley told his friend Darcy to dance too, but Darcy didn't like anyone there, especially not Elizabeth. Elizabeth heard him say something rude about her. She felt embarrassed and went outside to cry. Suddenly, Mrs. Featherstone showed up as a zombie and tried to speak. Before she could finish, Darcy appeared and shot her. Everyone heard the gunshot and rushed outside. Then another zombie came. Alarms went off. While most people ran away, the Bennet sisters pulled out their weapons and fought like pros. Elizabeth's fighting skills caught Darcy's eye. After the battle, the zombie bodies were burned. At home, Jane couldn't stop thinking about Bingley. Elizabeth kept talking about how rude Darcy was, and it made her punch harder during training. The next day, Jane got invited to have tea with Bingley. Her mom wanted her to stay overnight, so she sent Jane on a horse, hoping it would rain. On the way, Jane ran into a zombie. Her horse got scared and threw her off. Jane got hurt, but managed to fight off the zombie with a knife. Then it started raining, and she saw another zombie, this time a mother holding a baby. The next day, Elizabeth visited Bingley's house to check on Jane, who was sick with a fever. Darcy, worried she might be infected, tested her with the flies. When the flies didn't react, Elizabeth crushed them and gave them back, showing she wasn't scared. Later, Jane said she wanted to read instead of playing cards. This led to debate about what made a woman proper. Darcy couldn't decide if he liked or disliked Elizabeth. That night, Elizabeth secretly watched Darcy training outside. The next day, the rest of the Bennets came to take Jane and Elizabeth home. Bingley didn't want Jane to go, but Darcy reminded him that sickness could be dangerous. He also told Elizabeth he knew she had been spying on him. To cheer everyone up, Mrs. Bennet suggested having a big party. On the way home, they saw a broken orphanage. Now, zombie orphans were wandering in the woods. Soon after, Mr. Bennet introduced his family to their cousin, Mr. Collins. He would get their house one day. Collins was proud of knowing Lady Catherine, a famous zombie-fighting warrior. He wanted to marry Jane, but when Mrs. Bennet said Jane already liked Bingley, she suggested he marry Elizabeth instead. Later, Collins and the sisters went to visit their aunt. On the way, they found a broken carriage. A woman suddenly screamed for help, but she was actually a zombie. The Bennet sisters acted fast, and Jane finished her off. As they kept traveling, Elizabeth had trouble carrying their weapons, but Mr. Collins didn't help at all. When they reached town, Elizabeth met a soldier named Wickham. They got along well, but Darcy was watching and didn't look happy. Wickham told Elizabeth that he and Darcy had a bad past. Wickham said Darcy kept money that was supposed to be his. At the next party, Jane had fun with Bingley, while Elizabeth tried to talk to Wickham, but Collins kept bothering her and awkwardly asked her to dance. When Darcy tried to talk to her too, Collins interrupted again. Later, Darcy heard Mrs. Bennet saying loudly how Jane could marry into a rich family, which seemed to upset him. Then, Elizabeth found herself in the middle of a zombie attack. She and Bingley followed the noise and fought a zombie servant. Then, she found zombie orphans hiding in a cellar. One of them said a new friend brought them there. Darcy showed up and helped fight, using a kitchen knife and even throwing a zombie into an oven. He almost attacked Bingley, thinking he was infected, but Elizabeth stopped him. She told Darcy he was a good fighter, but had no kindness. The next day, Jane got a letter from Bingley saying he was leaving for London and planned to marry someone else, Darcy's sister, at lunch. Collins asked Elizabeth to marry him, but he wanted her to stop fighting and give up her weapons. Elizabeth said no. Upset, she ran outside the train. Her mom was angry, but her dad supported her. Elizabeth hugged her dad and ran into the forest. In the woods, she saw birds flying over 4 men in top hats. Wickham suddenly appeared, but when she looked again, the men were gone. He said he didn't see anyone and took her to a strange church. Inside, a priest was reading to a group of zombies. Wickham said these zombies were safe because they ate pig brains instead of human ones. He believed zombies and humans could live in peace. Elizabeth agreed and wanted to tell the king, but Wickham said the country had no money left. Later, Elizabeth's friend invited her to visit the in-laws. At their house, Elizabeth saw a painting of Lady Catherine killing Lucifer and another showing the 4 horsemen, the men she saw in the woods. She met Catherine, her daughter, and was surprised to see Darcy again. He was Catherine's nephew. Wickham also came to ask for money for his peace plan. Catherine laughed, and Darcy agreed with her. Wickham made Darcy angry by talking about his father, so Darcy kicked him out. Elizabeth said Darcy was cold, like a zombie. That night, Darcy trained. Elizabeth went for a walk and saw Wickham again. He told her Darcy made Bingley leave because he thought Jane only wanted his money. Wickham asked Elizabeth to run away with him. She refused. He warned her something bad was coming. Next day, Darcy told Elizabeth he liked her and asked to marry him, even though he thought she was beneath him. Elizabeth got mad and yelled at him for hurting Jane. They fought through things and Darcy left. Elizabeth cried. Darcy later sent her a letter. He explained he told Bingley to leave to protect him from Mrs. Bennet. He said Wickham lied and had tried to marry his younger sister for money. Now Darcy was in London fighting zombies, and he believed someone was leading them. Elizabeth soon learned Wickham had run off with Lydia. That night, Catherine came and said Darcy would marry her daughter unless Elizabeth married him first. Elizabeth wasn't sure, so Catherine made her fight her guard. Elizabeth won, and Catherine was impressed. Mr. Bennet said rescuing Lydia was too dangerous, but Jane wanted to help. Elizabeth said no. She needed Jane to protect the family. Catherine offered to protect them so Jane and Elizabeth could go. At a bridge, soldiers said they would blow it up at sunrise to stop the zombie army. The sisters crossed anyway. Bingley was almost caught, but Jane saved him. Darcy killed a zombie, then got surrounded. Elizabeth saved him with an axe. They stood on a zombie graveyard and started stabbing the ground. Elizabeth told Darcy Lydia was at the church. He lied and said it had burned down. It hadn't. He just wanted to keep her safe. Darcy snuck inside and found Lydia chained up. He also found Wickham's zombie attack plan. Wickham refused money and shot Darcy, waking the zombies. Darcy saved Lydia and sent her to the bridge. Elizabeth saw smoke from London and rushed to the church. Meanwhile, a soldier found out someone stole all the brains from dead soldiers. He started choking Darcy, but Elizabeth arrived, cut off Wickham's arm. She and Darcy ran as zombies chased them. They reached the bridge just as it exploded. Jane thought Elizabeth died, but she crawled out and found Darcy. She kissed him and said she loved him. A few days later, Bingley proposed to Jane, and she said yes. Darcy woke up, proposed to Elizabeth, and she said yes too. Both couples got married. But just when everything seemed perfect, Wickham returned with a zombie army.